This podcast is brought to you by Podcast Nation.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Upgrade your business with Shopify, home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning fewer carts going abandoned and more sales going cha-ching. So if you're into growing your business, get a commerce platform that's ready to sell wherever your customers are. Visit shopify.com to upgrade your selling today.
Welcome to Nirvana Sisters podcast, where we take the intimidation out of well-being and beauty to help you achieve your highest state, your nirvana. We are sisters-in-law and your hosts. I'm Amy Sherman.
And I'm Katie Chandler. So let's get into some real conversation.
Yeah, so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
We're obsessed with your content. It's so good.
Oh my God, I love you. Thank you.
It's so your TikTok. I just discovered the whole TikTok thing recently. Amy's been into it forever, but your TikTok, I went into like a cat hole on TikTok the other day.
A cat hole. That's funny.
I've never heard of cat hole. I've heard of rabbit hole.
That's amazing. Thank you. Yeah, it's been really wild. I feel like I don't consume enough. I was just talking to a friend of mine about that this morning. I feel like I want to consume content again. And because of my bandwidth restrictions, going in, putting out content, conversing with, my community, and then I'm off again. But I miss actually consuming TikTok in particular. But
I know. I know. I have weeks where I have more time where I'm I go down the rabbit hole of TikTok and I love every second of it. And I just learn new things or get ideas. And then there's weeks where I'm so busy that you just don't get a chance. And it's so nice to be able to do that. But anyway, thanks for joining us. All right. Yeah. So I will start us off. Welcome back to the show, Nirvana Sisters family. We are super excited to chat with Kat Ashmore today, AKA Kat Can Cook on Instagram and TikTok. She is a TikTok chef, a blogger, a producer, a mom. She is a classically trained chef, a TV personality, an Emmy award-winning food television producer and recipe developer focused on real food, recipes, and cooking tips for busy lives. She's got a 1.7 million following on TikTok, which is well-deserved because we were just talking before we started recording at how incredible and user-friendly her content is. Super engaging, really high quality video. And Kat is known for incorporating unique tricks and creativity into everyday meal preparation. She aims to empower the home cook to make delicious, healthy meals for themselves and their families and have fun doing it. And I will say, I love your bio, which is that mom friend you ask for healthy recipes, because it makes it very approachable and accessible. And that's what we're all about as a show. So welcome to the show, Kat. So nice to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to talk with you.
So we are going to start out with something we call our Nirvana of the Week, which is really just a way to step back and think about our week and what brought us joy this week, whether it was a moment, a day, whatever, thing that sparked joy. So I will let you, Katie, give us your Nirvana of the Week.
Okay, great. Thanks, Amy. Hi, Kat. We're so excited that you're here. And I should say, we live in the same town. If it was a pre-COVID world, we could be together.
Wow.
So, but eventually we will meet in person. And I look forward to that.
Definitely.
My Nirvana of the Week just happened, which is why I look like I do, which is kind of a mess. But I just came from being back on the reformer and doing Pilates for the first time in 8 weeks. Kat, I had post-COVID syndrome, so I have been out of commission, and now I'm back. And to do what I love, it's my happy place. I mean, I love being on the reformer. My brain goes completely clear, and it feels so good. I felt like the first time my body moved in 2 months. That's really what it felt like. So it was fantastic. That was my Nirvana for sure. What about you, Amy?
I love that, Katie. You're radiating. I can tell you feel really good. So I love that. I would say Probably yesterday's launch. So, Kat, we launched one of like my favorite people, Allie Webb. We launched her podcast yesterday, her interview with us. And it was sort of a first full circle moment for Katie and I, because we've always looked up to her. I've admired her for years, and she's sort of been my inspiration for like starting a business in the first place, starting my own thing in the first place. So to be able to launch her episode was really fun. And I think it was a good like reflection moment for Katie and I, because we launched a podcast a year ago and it was just like a nice moment. So that was great. What about you, Kat?
I was thinking about this. So I think my Nirvana moment was going to the diner with my kids and my husband, and actually enjoying a meal together, because they're at those ages where they're 3 and 5. So I'm like, I get these glimpses of like, oh, like this is what it's going to be like when, they're not running all over the restaurant and going through people's purses, and, we can actually have a conversation and I can finish a meal. It was really, the diner might as well have been a palace. It felt really, really good to be able to just connect and soak it up. And I'm managing my expectations. I know that next time might be a complete disaster again, but I'm very grateful for those glimpses of joy and calm and normalcy when I get them.
That's lovely.
That's great. Was it by chance Sherwood Diner in Westport? And last night, because I almost took my kids last night to the diner.
Oh, that's so funny. It was Southport Diner, so very close.
Okay. But we almost went to Southport Diner because we were in Fairfield for the dentist. Anyway, I digress. That is really funny.
Our favorite place.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I totally get what you mean by that, by the way. Like when the kids are at the age where they sit down and they want to have conversations with you around the dinner table, it's a lot of fun. Right, Amy has older. She has teenagers, so she's there.
Preteen and a teenager, 12 and 14, almost 15. But when they start becoming like real people and are able to talk and like enjoy a meal together, it's such a milestone, right? Because when the kids are little, you're like a mad person. You can never eat. No. It's the worst. It's like the worst going out to dinner. It's horrible.
It's awful. Yeah.
And now they're starting to get. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's so sweet. Well, let's kick it off. I want to get right into it because we want to get to know you a bit. Like we've been following you on social media and your content is so fun. Like Amy was saying, it's so accessible and easy to follow and easy to do. So tell us a little bit first about becoming this insane social media and blog sensation. You maybe we should back up. What were you doing before you were Kat Can Cook?
Thank you for that, by the way. So the couple of years prior to starting Kat Can Cook, which was in July of 2020, it was, a few months into the pandemic. And I had been a stay-at-home mom for 3 years. I was in a pretty dark place. And I think, as the pandemic started, it exacerbated, I think, whatever state was kind of like, humming along within a lot of people. It kind of just forced things up. Right. So that really was when I started getting creative again. And I started the website. And I think when you're at a hard moment in your life, you either kind of get kicked down the stairs or up the stairs. And that really was a bottom that I was able to spring from, and I took action, and I'm grateful that I did. But prior to that, I had, as you said, I had gone to culinary school, and I had sort of worked in almost every area of food media and business. So from, being a food television producer to a recipe developer to a food product manager to a buyer to, so I had kind of run the gamut in it. And so, making the choice to stay home with my kids, and we'll probably get into this, but it really didn't even feel like a choice, if I'm honest. And I think a lot of women deal with this because being in the suburbs and knowing that my career really exists in New York City. There really is not a career for me here. So my choices at the time seemed to be commute into New York City every day, which my husband also did, and never see my kids and probably not really see my husband, or stop working. And those were the only two options really available to me at the time.
Absolutely. And I mean, we should note it's an hour's commute. So for sure, like my husband does it and he gets home often at like 8 o'clock after the kids are in bed. So I completely can understand that. When you were doing television producing, what were some of the shows you were contributing to and you were on?
Sure. So right after culinary school, I ended up getting a position with Martha Stewart. So that was really amazing. She had been my idol. It still is very surreal to kind of talk about, even though, you know, I had a great sort of close relationship with her. But I was notorious in my family for, I would bring cookbooks with me on vacation all the time, like 6 heavy cooks. And my dad was like, you know, are you serious? But I would bring cookbooks with me on vacation and I'd be reading them in like a hotel room, like novels at night. And my brother thought I was, you know, he's like, where are you cooking? Like we're in a hotel room. But I couldn't get enough. I love to consume the content. I love the story of food. I love the connection. I love the community. I love the creativity of it. So I used to read her entertaining books. You know, those were some of the ones that I read all the time. So it was really very surreal to be able to work for her. But at a time where most of my class graduating from culinary school was going into a restaurant, which was highly encouraged by all of my instructors at the time. It was really like, you need to be in a restaurant. You need to get hands-on experience. My instincts were just like, that is not going to be good for me. That is not going to be good for my mental health. That's, you know, I had been like a waitress in college. I kind of knew what that life was like. And I have so much admiration for the people that do it because it is a lot of hard labor. It is very long hours. It's hard on a lot of levels, especially now. But I interviewed for an externship. It's sort of the last leg of your education at the Institute of Culinary Education. There was one spot on the Martha Stewart show, and I ended up getting it, which was great. And within like 3 months, they offered me a full-time position on the show. So I was one of the people that produced the food segments. So anytime you saw Martha cooking with, you know, celebrities or, you know, chefs or celebrity chefs or, you know, sometimes ourselves, I was on television as well, doing things like Thanksgiving hotlines and product reviews and that kind of stuff. So
cool. So much fun.
It was very cool.
I've always wondered about that world. Like, I mean, there's a lot that goes behind the scenes there, right? You guys are like, all of these other people are actually doing a lot of cooking, not Martha, right? Like she does on-screen cooking, but right? Isn't there a lot of behind the scenes action?
Yes. Yeah. 98% of it is done before the camera starts rolling. Absolutely. You know, you've got swaps, and, you know, now, of course, I'm seeing how so much of that plays, so much of those skills that I had almost forgotten about when I went in a different direction and started working for her at corporate and developing recipes. That production side, you know, I've been a storyteller my whole life, right? And the way that I look at it now is that now I'm storytelling on social media in short form video, right? And I'm storytelling for brands, but I've been a storyteller my entire life. It's just different platforms that I've told that story. So yeah, it was an unbelievable experience. I also think that I grew up very fast. Really living in New York City, I almost feel like everybody should live in New York City for like
totally agree.
months.
Yeah.
You know,
we both lived in New York for over 10 years and I totally agree. It's an education.
It is such an education. And I don't know if you agree with this, but the way that I looked at it was like, I got there and I was like, okay, I really need to figure out who I want to be because you can be anything. Like it is a place where it's not like a lot of other cities where there's a general direction that the tide flows in, right? Like New York, there's everything. So you really are forced to carve out like, what direction is it that I want to take? Because everything is at your disposal. And that's the time that I got a backbone. And I'm so grateful for that. It was amazing.
That's so great. Sad. So tell me a little bit about, I know you said you started creating your own content and storytelling on TikTok and Instagram in early 2020. So how did you kind of figure out that you wanted to do that? Were you just watching TikTok and then saying, oh, I could do that with my stuff? Like, how did you like actually start? Because I think that's also the hard part, just like identifying that this is something you could actually do and make a living doing.
Yeah, that's a great question. Didn't I didn't really even think that far. I had never been on TikTok. So the way that it all happened was that it was at a time where TikTok was, again, the pandemic had started and TikTok was at a place within the organization where they had a priority of leveling up the platform and maturing the platform and making it really heavy on educational, useful content. Right. So it was at a time where a friend of mine who is a model and actress out in LA, she had participated in this program with TikTok called the Creative Learning Fund, I believe it was called. And where they brought in educational creators and you worked directly with TikTok for a period of time. So like weekly content meetings, and you learned about the platform. And what was great was that you were really accountable. You had to post a certain amount of videos, per month. So I just said yes. I was not in a great place. I didn't feel like I had a whole lot to give. So
TikTok reached out to you, or your friend connected you?
My friend recommended me for it.
That's amazing.
Like, she was like, it's so funny because she texted me the other day and she was like, she just had a baby. She was been in that haze and she was like, Kat, like, I just looked at your page. Like, I knew that this would happen, but it didn't happen overnight. It seems like it happened so fast.
Yeah.
But I've had these spurts where, which informs me what kind of content my community really wants to see, of course. But, so I said yes to this program.
What a great program. Wow.
Yeah. Great opportunity.
It was an amazing opportunity. And I really didn't feel worthy of it. And I remember my husband kind of going like, well, what are your goals with? And he would like throw these things out there. Like, do you want to write a cookbook? Do you want to have a product line? Do you want to make $100,000 next year? And I was bristle because I was like, I felt this pressure, like, I'm not going to do that. It just felt too big to do it that way. And now those things are happening, which is so cool to me to see. But it really saved me in a lot of ways. That sounds a little dramatic, but it's
amazing. That's incredible. Congratulations.
Congratulations. And I work with TikTok a lot through my other job, which is marketing. And I know they're really invested in their creators. I didn't know they had a program like that. And what a valuable place to learn like how to do it. And now that you're saying that, I'm like, okay, that must have been such a good foundational way to start, because I mean, obviously your videos are so great, but like, I'm sure they gave you a lot of good tips and tricks. So
yeah.
Speaking of your videos, so let's segue into some meal prep, like go-to healthy, family friendly. I mean, obviously there's tons of this on your feeds, but what are kind of your favorite things to make and like easy things? Cause I am not, Katie is an amazing cook and I always steal recipes from her, but I am not a good cook at all. So I'm always looking for quick ways to like have weekday meals or snacks on the go. What are your favorites?
Well, do you want to start with like weeknight dinners? Are we talking?
Sure.
Yeah. Because I feel like dinner time is the troublesome time for most of us, right?
Always.
Like, especially being a mom, even for me, like I cook for a living. And sometimes I feel really burdened by getting dinner on the table. So I completely get it. So I think I like to batch cook as much as possible. So oftentimes when I'm making something, I will make a good amount of it and I'll freeze some of it. Like I'm always thinking about like, I have to cook right now anyway. I might as well like stock away some, right? So like last night, and this doesn't really apply because my kids wouldn't touch it, to be honest, but I made like a minestrone, right? So I made like this like beautiful winter minestrone with all this like great stuff in it. They like picked the pasta out. That's fine, whatever. But I made like a huge batch of it. And then, I froze, probably like 3 really good sized containers. I made a double batch. So I'm like thinking about, it's an investment in your like future busy day.
Yeah, I'm really bad at that.
I'm always thinking about that. And really it's the other thing too, is that like I'm big on meal prep, but like meal prep light. So not the, little segmented containers and that kind of thing, but I'll be making batches of pesto and I'll freeze it. I freeze it in ice cube trays, right? And so then you've got these like little cubes of pesto, you throw it into a sauce, you put it into a blender when it's thawed, you've got a salad dressing. Like you've got it.
That's awesome. I love that idea.
You've got your freezer stocked with it. I'm very big on not throwing things away. I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about that, but my family is a big meatball family. I don't know about yours, but something about kids and meatballs, it tends to just work. So I make a lot of different kinds of meatballs. I do these like chimichurri meatballs. I do these teriyaki meatballs with like roasted broccoli. Sheet pan situations can be really, really easy and very, very simple to do. So we are big. I mean, my kids like flavor. Very much like me. They like big flavored food. So I do a lot of different marinades. I have this teriyaki miso marinade on my website, and I love to do it with like grilled chicken or grilled salmon. You could also do it in the air fryer. So you could just like marinate it in the miso teriyaki marinade and then throw it in the air fryer or broil it or whatever it is during the winter months. It's just like flavor bombs. And then you've got it taken care of. Like it lasts for a while in your fridge, grab a piece of protein from the freezer, get it defrosting, and you've got your dinner done.
That's okay. So my problem is my kids don't all want to eat my food. And like, thank you, Amy, for saying I'm a good cook. I'm not that good, but I think I do all right. And as I end up being like a short order cook and cooking one meal for one kid, one meal for the other kid, that has really made me not want to cook as much anymore.
Totally. Miserable.
Yeah.
I get it.
It's frustrating, but it's of course your kids are, 3 and 5 and eating your food. You make amazing food. And did you always like from the time they could eat, was it always like, you're not getting kid food, we're doing this, like you will eat my meals?
No, I am not any better than you. Let me just, I mean it. Like my first, I don't know if you saw this TikTok, but my first truly viral TikTok was this like jokey, I mean, it's ridiculous, but it's this like joke that I made because I say it to my friends where I'm like, when people find out that I'm a trained chef, they're like, oh, you must never give your kids frozen chicken nuggets. And I'm like, obviously not, Janet. I cook them first, like that literally was like 4 million views on Instagram. Like, I am like very honest about the facts where I'm like, I will give my kids a box of Annie's macaroni and cheese and I will put cauliflower rice in it. And they don't
smart.
Like cauliflower just takes on whatever flavors you put it with, right? It's a very neutral thing. So I put it in pancakes. I put it in meatballs. Like you could put it in.
That's a great idea. I never thought about that.
My superfood pancakes are like literally they're like banana, oats. I put almond butter in there for fat because like my kids won't eat almond butter or peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Like they won't eat sandwiches. I wish they would.
Neither will mine.
They won't do it. They're not easy on me. So I completely get it. So my approach is this. I make sure that there is one thing, maybe two, that I know that they like, that they don't like absolutely despise. So there are like safe foods, right? So whether it's like, sourdough toast with some butter on it or like some carrots with some dressing, I make sure that there are a couple of things and then I'll serve them. Like I know that they're not going to eat salmon, but I will put salmon on their plate and I just manage my own expectations of it and say, if they eat some carrots and they eat a piece of bread, like that's dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all good. So like a big part of it for me has been letting go of this idea that they have to have a balanced meal and looking at like, I just aim for like a balanced day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like I just aim for a balanced day. So that is why like these superfood pancakes I make, if I get them eating a few of those pancakes, I'm like, I don't care if they have pirate's booty the rest of the day. Like they have had all of the nutrients and healthy fats that they need, and it just takes the pressure off because I'm like you, like doing the short order cook. That's not fun for anybody. And I've done it too. I've done it too.
So let me ask you a question about snacking stuff because my family, including me, tends to be big snackers, and especially with teenage boys. Like they don't, I mean, my older one is starting to eat like real good foods and like flavors. My younger one is super picky, but they tend to snack all day long. Literally, my older one will go downstairs at midnight and have 5 bowls of cereal. I mean, he's crazy and he's in this eating phase, and they'll just eat cereal and junk. And like my little ones like with candy. And so I just want to have like little snacks that they can eat that are sitting in front of them so that they don't have to do anything to. Cause I'll be like, oh, there was this in the fridge. And they're like, oh, I didn't see it. I'm like, it's in front of your face and you put it in the microwave for 10 seconds. So like, what's like an easy thing to prepare that they can just grab?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the first thing that comes to my mind is not necessarily a food suggestion, but it's more of an organizational suggestion.
Love.
So yeah. So a friend of mine, her name is At Home with Shannon. I don't know if you follow her, but she's known for like her self-serve fridge situation and self-serve stations. So she has like self-serve stations for everything. She's got 4 kids, and like having a section of the refrigerator that is like their section where they know it's like their snacks, their food. I don't know. Like, I think when they're young, depending upon the kid, I think that the benefit is a little bit different. But when they're young, there's that like pride and like, oh, it's my cool. Like I can have anything in this area, right? Like something that's really accessible. And it also is like, it keeps food from kind of going to the back of the fridge to die and never getting seen and being like, I didn't know that was there. I'm realizing I probably need to do that for my husband because, you know, he's like, where's the mustard? I'm like,
oh my God.
The same place it is every single
My husband does that all the time. He'll be like, oh, we're out of XYZ. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's right there. He's like, oh, I didn't see it. I'm like, if it is not on the front shelf directly in front of his face, he won't see it.
I just have to put like a PBR label on it or something so that his eyes towards it. I don't know. I got to do something about it. But yeah, so I mean, my first question would be, what kinds of snacks do they tend to want? So what do they reach for currently? Cereal. I would say cereal's number one, maybe like popcorn or chips, or for my little one, candy, which we've got to curb. He's like addicted. Or like, you know, I try not to buy them, but like gummy snacks or fruit strips or bars, like things like that. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we do all of that same stuff.
Yeah.
Like, a big thing for me that I'm aware of is that if I can try to get whatever they're snacking on, if it has some fat component, it's going to keep them full so that in a half an hour, they're not like, I want more of this. I want more of that. You know, they're just constantly eating and then they're not hungry for dinner or whatever. So it can be a challenge for sure. I do a lot of like smoothies for them, but we do like the Lara bar route. Like,
yeah,
like the chomp sticks, like the turkey.
Yes,
sticks,
I have those.
like,
okay.
Those. I'll do like nuts. Would they do nuts if you made like a mix?
Yeah. You know, I do have tons of nuts, but they won't, I think, maybe I should mix up like a nut like situation for them because I do have tons of nuts, but they don't like grab nuts like I would. But maybe that's like a
my
little
kids
trail
don't
mix.
either. But what I do is I'll do like maple glazed pecans, and then I have so literally you just toss them with maple syrup and like a little bit of flaky salt in a saucepan, and then it hardens. So
that sounds so good.
Yeah. So I mean, it's great for me too, because I could throw it on salads, I could whatever. But it's that sweet component because they're not going to grab like a handful of Brazil nuts. You know, so
I do have a section in the pantry for them. And not in the fridge. That's a good idea. But in the pantry, I do have a section, but it's kind of evolved because now they're older. So they just kind of take everything. But I'm going to think of some good nut ideas. I like that because it's a healthy fat and it's filling.
And it's like mimicking what, you know, do they have, like my daughter has a wicked sweet tooth, right? So like, and loves like fruit. So anytime that I can incorporate like some kind of sweetness in there. And also like, I don't know, this is a whole other thing, but I think we can get so dogmatic about like, oh, sugar and kids and this and that. And it's like, for me, you know, if it's going to get them to eat something healthy, like it's not covered in sugar, it's all worth it for me. You know, It's real food too. So
yeah, actually my older one loves fruit and he's hilarious. Like I'll get two things of raspberries at the store. They're gone in like an hour. He eats
That's great.
both of them.
yeah.
But I mean, and it's great, but it's like
Then
there's
you
no
have to go
calorie,
out
you
and
know.
buy them again
Oh,
constantly.
he's constantly telling
No.
me, you have to go to the store. We need more fruit. We need more this. I'm like, can you just go to the store and like get what you want? Because I can't keep up with the amount of food.
And it's not the kind of thing you can buy in bulk. Like, you know, it's not like a Costco thing where you could,
Yeah, a teenage boy eat you out of house and home. I'm sure.
God. Right.
So crazy.
Yeah.
So all right. Speaking of your content, I saw you have these really amazing food hacks to keeping your like produce longer and to reviving it. I saw something with strawberries and something with romaine, and I'm going to let you tell us. And then do you have any other ones?
Yes. So it really hurts my feelings to have to throw like anything out. I mean, sometimes my husband's like, what are you doing? Like, why are you saving? You know, you're getting like a little insane here, but I do not like throwing anything out. So what I do with berries, when I'm buying berries, I'm not buying them a ton right now, but what I do with berries is, because raspberries in particular, I mean, if you don't have a son that is eating them within like 20 minutes, they tend to go bad really quickly, right?
Yeah, they get all mushy and
they get bad really, really fast. So if you soak it in a mixture of 1 part of vinegar, like your everyday white vinegar, you could also use like an apple cider vinegar, whatever. Don't waste your expensive stuff. 1 part vinegar to 4 parts water. And you just soak it. It does not it could be anywhere from 4 to 10 parts water. If you're really adverse to any kind of vinegar thing, you could just rinse it off. But what it does is it kills the mold inside of the berries and it keeps it from growing. So you can, in the summertime, I mean, I've had strawberries last like up to 2 weeks. If I buy like a big package of them. Yeah. Or if I go strawberry picking or whatever, and I'm like, okay, I can't like be making jam and freezing and all that stuff now. So that is really, really helpful. And when it comes to vegetables, because I buy a ton of vegetables.
Wait, quick question. How long do you soak it? How long do you soak it?
For like 10 minutes.
Okay. And then rinse it off and store it. Okay.
Exactly.
Go ahead, vegetables. Yeah. Sorry, just clarifying.
When it comes to vegetables, so you can revive most vegetables with ice water. I tend to, when I get my veg, I often do this, it's an online farmer's market based in New York. I often will order from them, but if I'm going to the store as well, oftentimes I'll prep some of my veggies when I get home. But if you've got veggies that like you're grabbing a head of romaine and it's like really sad and wilted, you don't have to throw it out. You can just put it in some ice water and you will find that it really perks up for you. That's
amazing.
I've even had like carrots where like I could not even snap them. Like they were like, I mean, I could bend them. Like they were like yoga carrots, you know, it was like ridiculous. Like I was like this thing, but then I put it overnight in ice water. Like I peeled it, I put it overnight in ice water and the carrots were perfectly fine the next day. They were chopping up, crunchy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It makes so much sense because there's so much water content. That's what vegetables and fruit are, like, right? And you feed water to flowers to bring them alive. Why wouldn't it's the same thing? I've never thought of that. And the other thing with the strawberries and the fruit and killing the mold is genius because you can accidentally ingest berries that have molded somewhat and it's really bad for you. Like it's bad for your gut and all of that stuff. So that's just like a great health hack as well. I love that.
And it's easy and it's cheap and it's stuff you already have on hand. It takes 2 minutes, you know. Same thing with herbs with the water. Like I put them, my favorite way to store fresh herbs is to put them in like a mason jar filled with water and then put like a bag on top of it. So like a stasher bag or whatever. And then put it in my refrigerator door and they're going to last weeks for you that way.
That's great. Yeah. Your food waste, like how much it really, really bothers you. I mean, I can greatly appreciate it. And I think everyone these days is trying to lean towards reducing that. But I'm so curious, is part of that drilled into you in culinary school? Because I know that in restaurants, like chefs and everything, I've heard that like no food is thrown out. Like you do something with even the scraps of the scraps. Is that a thing from school?
That's a really interesting point. I actually think it's more from, my parents were not wasteful people at all. So I grew up with that. My grandfather, like, he would lose a shoe and like hang on to the other one and be like, it's still good. Literally, I come from that. But Martha also is very much that way. She will not, if there's one drop of batter in a bowl, she's like, no. Like, she will not let you rinse it out, and she grew up quite poor. So we had that professional standpoint as well. So I think that made a difference too. Thank you for asking that, because I hadn't really considered that before.
I'm super curious. What are your top 5 pantry staples for healthy meals? Because I feel like there's things that, as long as they're there, we can always go to them and turn something out that's like, somewhat healthy, aside from always having the fresh produce and everything on hand. Yeah. Pantry staples.
Yes. Yeah, there have been times where I have even, I've been recipe testing a lot. And then I look in my refrigerator and I'm like, I don't really know what I'm going to do for dinner. So one of my the first thing that comes to my mind is chickpeas. So all legumes, really, like, I've always got, especially white beans and chickpeas in my pantry. Like, I do a lot with legumes, lentils as well. If you've got lentils, chickpeas, white beans, like, you are well on your way to a meal. One of my favorite. Okay, so I need to answer your question first because I can go on a tangent. So, I would say lentils, number 1, chickpeas, white beans. I'm going to bunch all of that in together. Number 2, some grains. So whether it's rice or farro or something like that. And then I would say 2 big things would be in the realm of some kind of a cooking paste, sauce, things like that. So for me, kimchi is always in
Love kimchi.
I'm obsessed. Kimchi is always in my fridge. And then some kind of pesto, curry paste, tomato paste, something like that. And then coconut milk, canned coconut milk.
Yes. I always have that.
Those are big ones for me. So
I never use coconut milk. I don't even know what to do with it.
Oh my God.
It's like soups, curries, like all, right? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I've got a number of recipes on my website, but
I'm going to look those up.
Yeah. So one of my, actually a recipe from when I did a little bit of private chefing when I was just starting at Martha and when I was in culinary school. And I would make this pasta it's a spicy fusilli pasta with tomato and cream, but you're actually using coconut milk. So it's dairy free.
Yeah.
And you combine tomato paste with coconut milk. Like, you cannot taste any hint of coconut. It's just a really luscious, creamy, like, think of vodka, but healthier. It's delicious.
And I never use tomato paste. I always just use like a sauce, but I feel like a paste is probably like a better texture, right?
It's that umami. It's concentrated flavors. So those are those like secret weapons, kind of, I call them, that I just always have on hand. It is like flavor. It's really complex. All of the work is done for you. I make these coconut spice chickpeas using tomato paste, some spices, some coconut milk, chickpeas, serve that over rice or over cauliflower rice. So good. And then the other night, it was one of those days where just, work was insane. I got home at like 5:30. The kids had eaten already. So that was helpful. But I literally I had lentils in the fridge from the night before. I cooked 2 fried eggs in olive oil and then like a big heap of kimchi. And that was my dinner. And I was like, so good. I was so happy. Like, you can still eat really well with really minimal time if you just know how to put things together.
And also
that's what I'm learning.
Affordable also. Like, all the staples rather that you just said are super affordable. I know so many people say like, oh, it's so expensive to eat healthy, and like, that's not true. Everything you just said is you can get for great prices.
Yeah. Very, very affordable. And that's really important to me with my content in particular, is that I want as many people making these recipes as possible. So I am always like, if you don't have this, use this. If you don't have this, use this. Like, I try and make it so that things are very, very accessible to people, because not everyone lives in a community where, number one, they can afford it. Number two, they've got these specialty stores that carry this stuff, right? Like most of the stuff you can find at Walmart, like, you know.
So we love your Hungry Lady salad series that we like went down the rabbit hole watching them, because first of all, the salads look incredibly amazing. And second of all, they look like fairly easy to make. So I like watching those videos because I'm like, okay, that's like a thing to have. And then you can eat that over several days. So how did the inspo for that come out? And those I'm imagining are super popular on your like on your channels.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been really amazing. I mean, that series, I posted a soup. It was, and I'll never forget, because I hit 1 million followers on TikTok January 8th. And I have 1.7. So it's all pretty much been because of
like January 8th, like a month ago.
This year. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing.
4 weeks
That's amazing.
ago.
That's so cool. Congrats.
Yeah. And I mean, I think I had like 60,000 followers on Instagram, and now I have like 130, and it's so in 4 weeks. So clearly, like one thing that I've really learned is I think a lot of the success that I've had is because I've really shifted my focus to like really listening to my community, you know, and I tell a lot of content creators, my friends in, you know, marketing in this way, like people will tell you what they want to see from you. You just have to be listening, because I used to have this whole content plan. These are the recipes I'm going to make and blah, 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 blah. And I had a whole plan for January. I had all of these recipes that I had either already made and shot and are still ready to go or not. And I threw it all out the window, because I'm like, the way that this one salad resonated with people, I called it the Hungry Lady salad. It's a kale chopped salad with like a lemon tahini dressing, and people were going crazy over it. They loved the name, and I was like, there is really something here. And so I just was like, this needs to be a series. And I posted like 10 episodes so far. And I actually shot one this morning. So I mean, I could make salads all day. Like I am like very much about like, what am I adding to my plate rather than what I'm taking away? Like, I love this feeling of like abundance in my life. And it really, like, especially entering this month that is like the month of like deprivation, January, where everyone's feeling like, lose weight, I need to do that. Like, let's look at it in a little bit of a different way. I have personally gotten a ton of food freedom from viewing food that way, you know, really just focusing on like what makes me happy, how can I add more color, more texture, more interest, rather than like taking it away. You know, the perspective of lack and restriction is not one that serves me very well. And I think a lot of people.
Yeah. And I think your salads too, in that series, they're very hearty. So I was looking at them. I'm like, okay, I need to make, because they're not just like, oh, I'm having this little salad, I'm going to be starving. I mean, they're like a full on meal. I mean, super hearty. So, and they're, they're all like, look,
I know.
So
I need to make all
good.
of them.
I just watched it. I'm like, oh my God, I have to make this immediately. Katie, you and I can do like a salad off and try to make them see who makes it better.
It's been amazing. And it really has, again, just like really helped me pronounce my mission further of just getting people excited about food, not taking ourselves so serious, adding a whole bunch of stuff to our plate, eating with huge spoons, you know, just the whole concept of like what it means to eat like a lady, and what it means to eat healthy. And I don't know, it's fun.
I really love your approach to it, and you know how you're saying like switching the focus from restriction and everything. And some people might look at you and think like, oh, you can eat anything. You know, like you're one of those girls, but you actually lost 25 pounds, and you've been very vocal about this on social media. Eating the way you love and the way that you promote and share and everything. Tell us a little bit about that journey.
Yeah. So I've talked about this a little bit on social. I don't talk about it often, not for any reason in particular. I also think that right now we're in a very sensitive world. And so anything having to do inevitably, I get tons of comments with like, like accusing me of promoting diet culture, all of that stuff. So it's, it's not a narrative that I talk about a lot, but yeah, I mean, I was a good 20, 25 pounds heavier. Like a year ago or a year and a half ago than I am now. And I think in a lot of ways, my passion for food never left. Just like in the absence of creating food, I just ate food and ate food and ate food. And so, it was nice to be able to redirect my passion a bit into, creating food as well. But it really started with that mentality of what can I add to my life? And it's been very, very, very rewarding. I get messages every day. I mean, dozens of messages a day from people that, have said, like, you've helped me look at healthy eating a different way. I've lost this amount of weight. Like, I don't really ever talk about calories. I don't really ever talk about that stuff, because for me, when you just really start falling in love with like beautiful, real food, like hearty food, interesting food, that stuff like sorted itself out. I didn't have to go that route. I'm not saying that that's the way it is for everyone, but from what I'm hearing, I'm not alone in that.
Yeah. So when you say adding, so you were obviously like not creating and eating more. So when you kind of started creating and lost weight, and obviously it probably wasn't intentional, it's just because you probably were in the creative mode and not sitting around like we all were during the pandemic eating. But when you're adding, so you're saying, because I love that, that's really a great way to think about it, because I never thought about it that way. Like, what am I adding? When you say that, do you mean in the sense of like, what am I adding that can be more nutritious? Like, am I adding a nut? Am I adding like something to fill you up more? Like, explain that theory a little bit.
Yes. Yeah. So when I look at what I'm adding, like when I'm creating a salad, for instance, right? Like, so I am always looking at like, okay, here's the base of it. And here are maybe a couple of other things that are pretty normal to put on it. What, like cucumber, tomato, like, sure, has a place there for sure. But like, that's a pretty boring salad, not something I'm going to be excited to eat every day. And if you love food the way that I love food, I need to be excited about what I'm eating. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to be excited to be eating an amazing New Haven pizza or delicious croissant. Like, that's going to make me excited. So I need to come up with stuff that is as exciting as that. And so that is really about layering in textures and colors and, understanding. And I talk about this a good amount in my videos, like understanding the yin and the yang of a great recipe, like how the sweetness plays off of something that's acidic and how the creaminess plays off of something, so how different elements of the salad make the other element more pronounced.
Yeah. And it's probably just experimentation too. Like, I'm just not experimental because I'm like, oh, maybe that won't taste good. And then whatever. Katie actually taught me that, though, when she's making a salad, she does that, where she'll just like go through the pantry and be like, oh, what else can I add? Let me add like some cheese. Let me add some nuts. And so I sort of, I learned from her, like, to throw like nutritional yeast in a salad to like give it a little bit of like, of that texture. So anyway, it's good to hear that. It's a great way to think about really anything that you're making. Like, what can you add to make it more, yummy and nutritious? And I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. So we could talk all day. There's so much more, I think, to talk about. We probably have to have you on for a round two, because there's so many there's so many hacks we want to know. Let's get to dessert quickly. Like, what are your favorite swaps for making healthy dessert? Because I definitely have a sweet tooth and I'm always looking for a yummy dessert.
Yeah, for sure. And I have dessert every single night. Like, my freezer is filled with cookies, brownies, blondies. Like, I panic if I don't have bags. Like, it's a problem. So I am with you. So a couple of things. So, I mean, I have the fudgy avocado brownies that one of my most
I have to make those. Yeah, those look amazing.
Those are really, really fun and really fudgy and great. I love to make like chocolate puddings and chocolate mousses with tofu. It gives a lot of volume and creaminess to the chocolate mousse, and you would never know that it was in there. Sometimes I'll do like a roasted sweet potato, a mashed sweet potato. I'll make the chocolate mousse out of that. So yeah, so those are the big ones for me. And then I have these vegan chocolate chip cookies that I just love, and they're really delicious. I'll be posting the recipes soon. So
good.
Yeah. It's really just a matter of stepping back and asking yourself, like, what purpose does this ingredient serve in the dish, and what can replicate that? And it takes practice to know that, but
I need your chocolate chip cookie recipe because that is my all-time favorite dessert, and I can't eat eggs. So I need that stuff.
This is it. I'm still like perfecting it because it's very temperamental. Sometimes it spreads too much. Sometimes it doesn't, which is fine for me because I'm just eating them. But I haven't shared it yet because I'm like, it's not perfect, but I will share it with you, and maybe it'll be good for you to give me feedback too.
Okay, great. All right. Well, tell us quickly about your ebook, because that's so exciting. When did that opportunity come about, and how's it been?
Well, it's interesting too, because I just submitted, I finished my proposal for an actual cookbook yesterday.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Congrats.
So yeah, my literary agents sent it out to publishers last night. So that is like very exciting.
That's so exciting.
When all of this happened in January, I had like 3 publishers email me directly, like, we want to do a Hungry Lady cookbook. It's not going to be that exactly, but that'll definitely be the tone and the element of it. So recipe development at my core is like what I love to do. It is my favorite thing in the world. I just would create recipes all day, every day if I could. So I wanted a place where I could package things in a more structured way. So many people have been asking for cookbooks, and cookbooks take a while to produce. It's a whole thing. So it was a way for me to just easily get something up for people. And then when I started seeing photos on Instagram of like, people cooking, and they had like bound together all of the pages in like a binder. And I'm like, I need to do a cookbook, because they're like basically like, oh my God, it was really funny. I'm like, these poor people, they're like printing out, they're like laminating it. And I'm like, they're like, it's like a DIY cookbook. Yeah, that is on the horizon. Hopefully.
Very cool. And if you think about it, your TikTok and Instagram is basically like a virtual cookbook, because I tend to find recipes that way and just watch the videos and do them, because it's so much easier for me to like visually see it than to like read through the whole recipe. So that's great. Awesome. So we're going to get into our wrap session, which is just some fun questions we like to ask every guest. So what is your favorite wellness or beauty hack?
Wellness or beauty hack. So I will say 2 things. First thing is not a hack, but I do TM. I do transcendental meditation, and that has like changed my life. And as far as my skin goes, because I get a lot of questions about my skin.
You have gorgeous skin. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I did not always, but I put 3 main things. So I stopped washing my face in the morning. So I don't wash my face at all in the morning. First, so when I am done with my shower, I do like a minute of ice cold water, which takes some getting used to, but I think that's really good for my skin, and it just wakes me up. It's like good for your endorphins. It also kind of calms you down at the same time. And then the other thing is, after my moisturizer at night, I do like a pea size of Vaseline all over my face.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's
so funny. We had this TikToker on, the Healthy Huga, who does all these beauty and wellness stuff, and she told us that she puts Vaseline or Aquaphor over her face, and it like gets everything. Yeah,
it makes a difference. Yeah.
The ice. Are you literally like dipping your face in a bowl of ice? Like
no, so I finish with ice cold water
in the shower.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. I misunderstood that entirely. Yeah.
But ice, I mean, you can definitely, like, if you just put an ice cube, run it all over your face, it's amazing for your skin. I just like.
Yeah, I have an ice roller.
Freezer in my, I could do that too.
Yeah.
Where do you keep it? Do you keep it in the freezer and then you go from your bathroom to the freezer?
I keep it in the fridge or the freezer. Yeah. And I just grab it. Like sometimes if I just go downstairs, I'll just, and I have like a little freezer or a little fridge in my room, in my bedroom, in my bathroom, like a mini one. And so I just use it there.
I need to get one of those. I've been thinking about that. So maybe it's time.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've heard though that doing cold water in the shower, a lot of like wellness people say that. I don't know if I could stomach it, but
Yeah.
I heard it like totally gets you going.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
All right. So this is what we call our 5-minute flow. You just got out of the shower and dried off your ice shower, and Uber just alerted you they are 5 minutes away. What is your quick beauty routine to get out the door? Like your go-tos, your holy grail. What are you going to throw on to get to the car?
Yeah. So the first thing that I'm going to do is probably like use a little bit of dry shampoo. So like chlorine or whatever. And then I probably won't do anything to my hair. I'll just like zhuzh it up a bit. And then as far as face goes, like the biggest things for me are I love the milk primer. So it's like, milk makeup, the clean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love that it's not like silicone based. So I don't feel like it's like clogging my pores. And then I've been using the Ilia Super Serum.
Yes, I have it. Tinted serum. Yeah, it's
great.
great.
And it's just like, it's light coverage. So if I'm like running out the door, it's like nothing crazy. I don't always.
And it has SPF.
Makeup on. It has SPF. So it's like, you're covered. I would throw on some concealer for sure, a little bit of bronzer probably. And then I like never go without mascara. Thrive mascara is my favorite thing in the entire world.
Oh, I haven't tried that. I keep seeing it online.
It is the best. I also think my eyelashes are better because I stopped curling them. Like I haven't curled them in a long time, like probably a year and a half or something like that. So that is really essential for me.
Nice.
What was the mascara? Did you say Thrive?
Thrive mascara. THRIVE. It's amazing. Amazing. Yeah. So
yeah, I see so many videos about that.
It's great.
I'll have to try it because the mascara that I use is the Ilia mascara. Yeah. It's like I forget which one it is, like the full whatever, and it's great. But I'm always looking for a good one, so that's good to know. And last question of our wrap session is: how do you maintain your daily nirvana? I know you said you do TM, so I'm sure that's a big one. But any others?
TM is really it's like an essential for me. I do it first thing in the morning. So I would say TM for sure. And then also I wake up very early. And I think that is really essential for me in setting my day because my kids start to wake up by 6:30, 6:45. So if I don't have some time before that, I'm in a funky headspace. Like I'm a sensitive creature. I'm an empath. I tend to take on the energy around me. If I don't like ground myself in something pretty significant first thing in the morning, it is not good for anybody involved. So I wake up at usually like 4:30, 4:45, which is early, I guess. But I just wake up. Now. I mean, now I literally just wake up and I do my TM. I do like a 20-minute workout. I get a little bit of work done. And by the time they wake up, it's all behind me. So
I do the same. So I don't do that much, but I have to, if I don't have an hour.
Yeah, you do that. Mm-hmm.
Like right before I need an hour before anybody in my house is awake. And even when my parents are here, my mom gets up with me to have the coffee. I'm like, no.
So
right. You're like, I need my time.
Like, this is my time. And when people act like I'm doing something that is, so virtuous by waking up so early, I'm like, I'm doing it so that you don't see me on the news. Like I'm doing it, I'm doing it so that I am like a good member of society, like not for any reason that you should be, of. Like I require a lot to just be steady. That's not I'm not a wear life like a loose garment kind of gal. So I need to steady myself wherever I can.
Yeah. So important.
That's great.
We love that. We love that.
All right. Well, Kat, we appreciate you so much. This was so fun, and we for sure need to do a second round.
Okay. So, Kat, at the end of the show, I like to one of us will talk about kind of what we're loving lately. And I'm just curious to know if you know this. So we were just talking about desserts. So I had my new favorite dessert, which I found, I didn't make it, but I found it at Trader Joe's, which I was saying on another episode, I don't go to a lot, but when I go, I sometimes always find like a fun thing. So I found these. I have a picture on my phone. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's the Trader Joe's vegan cookies and cream vanilla bean bonbons, and they are made with coconut non-dairy frozen dessert. And so it's a coconut non-dairy frozen dessert enrobed in a chocolatey coating. They are so good. They're these little bonbons and they're non-dairy, which is great. So you don't feel like, and they're not like, you don't get all the dairy side effects, and they're so yummy, and they're really not that bad. Not that we need to go through the calories or the fat or the sugar, but they're pretty low in all of those things. So I happen to find them lately. It's my new favorite thing. So I've been like eating them.
Are they?
They're frozen.
The frozen section. I'm literally
in the frozen section. Cookies and cream vanilla bean bonbons. I'm telling you, they're so indulgent.
Get them in like 20 minutes. So I'm going to text them.
I want to hear what you think about them because I had them, and then my husband loves them. My parents were over recently. They went to Trader Joe's and bought them. They're so yummy, and they're just like a good little treat and not too bad for you.
Perfect for my kids too, because they're not enormous where like the ice cream is melting all over their
and they taste like ice cream. I mean, they're so good.
I love that.
So
I'm really excited.
take a look and give us your expert opinion on what you think of it. So that's my favorite thing I'm loving this week.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun talking to you, and you taught us a lot. Our listeners got a lot, so we appreciate it.
Thank you, and congrats on all of your success.
Where can our listeners find you? You just want to mention.
So they can find me on Instagram. I'm cat_can_cook. TikTok, it's Cat Can Cook. And then my website is www.kathleenashmore.com.
Yay.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for listening to Nirvana Sisters. For more information on this episode, check out the show notes, please subscribe, and leave us a review. Also, find us on Instagram at Nirvana Sisters. If you loved what you just listened to or know someone that would, please share it and tag us. Tune in next week for a fresh new episode of Nirvana Sisters. We'll continue to watch out for all things wellness so you don't have to. Bye.